here we go. Yeah, thanks all. So happy to be here presenting to you all today. The talk today is Goodbye Daylight, Hello Overture, Migrating from one QA'd OpenStreetMap distribution to another. My name is Jennings Anderson, and I'm a software engineer at Meta. So the first version of Daylight was released in March of 2020. Then it's been 66 releases over 4 years to the final distribution just this last November. So Daylight was a regularly released distribution of OpenStreetMap data that came with a quality guarantee. Basically, what would happen is Meta's mapping team would take regular snapshots of OSM, run a number of data validation checks for broken polygons, vandalism, impossible intersections, etc., and then fix those in OSM, and then apply those changes to this kind of frozen version of the map. And then every couple of weeks, Meta would publish the resulting planet file as this new version of Daylight. And this was the same data that powered all of their base maps. So Daylight is no longer available in its previous form. And so this talk is about what do we want to do if you still want to access QA'd OpenStreetMap data with that quality guarantee. So there is no longer a single Daylight OSM PBF. And I do want to add a note here that we kind of found some of the upper limits of what we can do with a PBF file, because as Daylight got more popular, other data sets known as sidecar files were released that were intended to be added to Daylight, such as buildings from Esri Community Maps, Microsoft's ML footprints. And when you applied these sidecars to the Daylight file to create one unified PBF, processing that single planet file was becoming an unreasonable computational task. And so to solve all of this, today we have Overture Maps. So Overture compiles data from a variety of open sources, including OpenStreetMap, and has those same quality guarantees in place. A little background on Overture. Currently, there are 6 data themes. One, addresses, base, buildings. Buildings contains all of the buildings in OpenStreetMap, about 620 something million, plus buildings from Esri Community Maps, plus buildings from Microsoft's ML building footprints and Google Open Buildings. Those are all conflated together to make one unified buildings data set of about 2.5 billion buildings. And then divisions as your administrative boundaries, places data, and a transportation network. And these 4 themes with asterisks are all data that are all themes that include data from OpenStreetMap. Today, though, I want to talk about the base theme. I think these other themes are pretty self-explanatory as to what type of data they contain. So I want to dive more into the base theme. Base is basically all the other stuff that you need to make a map. And so within the base theme, we have multiple types of data. First, we have infrastructure, land use, and water. Now, we also have bathymetry and land cover, but those don't include data from OSM, so I'm not going to talk about those today. So first, let's take a look at what is in the infrastructure type. Globally, there are about 100 million features, and that's just broken down into 15 subtypes and 149 classes. And you can see kind of a breakdown of the top most popular class and feature, subtype and classes over here. So we have a lot of our power infrastructure, fences, barriers, parking information. And so what does a feature look like? This is a parking lot from the Overture data. And we can see it's been converted to the strict Overture schema here on the left. It has the subtype of transit, class of parking, and then it passes through the source tags, as well as the reference to the original OpenStreetMap feature, which is here. And so we can see that how these tags get kind of converted over to this Overture schema. And so now let's look at another one, land. These are going to be all of our kind of natural land cover features. And here's a quick overview of what's in there. We have about 27 million trees. We have 62 million features globally, 13 subtypes, and 42 classes. And so let's look at a specific feature here. Here's a forest. and we can see how this is represented in Overture. Natural equals wood, subtype forest, class wood, and then the source tags get brought over. And just to kind of make that comparison there, this is how we get it from OpenStreetMap. And as well as land use. Land use is going to be more of the human involved, human managed land features. So 47 million features, 23 subtypes, and 108 classes. And here's some of those top features as well. And here's an example of land use. We have a nature reserve. This also, we've converted the names features as well over here into this rich structure for primary name and options for other translations. And you can see how the source tags also transfer over. And there's that feature in OpenStreetMap. And finally, we have water. And this is gonna be 52 million features, 11 subtypes, 35 classes, all kind of determined based on those original OpenStreetMap tags. And so here's the Columbia River, and you can see this name structure where we pull out different names into primary, common, and then variants as well. And it's been classified into subtype river, class equals river. And there it is in OpenStreetMap. So how do we access this data? Overture data is published as GeoParquet files on both S3 and Azure. It's released monthly. You can see the release notes here to pointers to the latest file on our website. The data is also copied onto other data platforms such as source.coop, Whereabots, Fused makes it available, and more. Oops, sorry. And please take a look at our documentation, docs.overturemaps.org/getting-data to learn more about accessing this data. Additionally, big shout out, Planet Tiler supports Parquet input now, and so we can build a global PM tiles archive from Overture data, and you can see an example of how to do that on the documentation as well. Here's another just kind of side-by-side example I want to show for this is how we look at data from Overpass Turbo from OSM directly. And so this is what that query would look like if you were to query that data in place with DuckDB directly from AWS on S3. So fairly similar, right? We're going to define a bounding box and specify a subtype. On the left, we have our tags that we're using, and on the right, we're going to be looking at our classes and subtypes, and we're going to receive the same data. What's really cool about this is DuckDB is accessing these GeoParquet files directly on S3, not interacting with a server running an API. So what if we're missing a specific type of feature that you would like to see in the data from OpenStreetMap? The base theme is not all of OSM, and it never will be, right? OSM is a map of anything and everything made by us, a community of mappers. Overture, on the other hand, is distributing open map data, including OSM, that's been optimized for developers and map makers. And so to get data into the base theme, it requires explicit feature selection from OpenStreetMap, as well as well-defined mapping of how those OSM tags are going to map to those Overture subtypes or classes. And we'd love more input. Here's a screenshot of our GitHub where somebody asked for more information on public drinking water from OpenStreetMap to go into Overture. And so we added that conversion, and I think we added about 230,000 water access points. And so please be in touch. Our GitHub is a great way to access or leave your comments so that we can keep continuing serving this data. I also wanted to show this just a screenshot of our documentation showing all of those buildings. I believe in this case, blue is Esri buildings, red is OpenStreetMap buildings, and then we have this kind of mixture here of the ML buildings from Microsoft and Google. So you can see how our building data set comes together. So with that, thank you. There is an Overture channel on the OSM US Slack, and you can reach out to us there. GitHub is a great place to open comments and issues, and would love to talk more about how we can continue to improve the base theme and bring in more high quality data from OpenStreetMap for anyone looking for that data in GeoParquet and looking for QA'd OpenStreetMap data. Thank you.